day it could become. Welcome along to the French Riviera and to Monaco, the 71st Formula One World Championship. Monaco Grand Prix, a race has been won from pole 32 of the previous 70 occasions, but where the winner has come from the top three on the grid 60 times out of the 70 Grand Prix. That's how important qualifying around this 2-mile circuit is going to be later. 78 laps to come in tomorrow's race. Who is going to claim pole, and is it going to be a continuation of the Charles Leclerc happy story around these streets? Winner from pole last year and the fastest man in FP1 and FP2 yesterday. C6 tyre is new for this year and new to Monaco. We had it in Imola last week. C5 is the medium, C4 is the hard, the C is blue. That's the SEA, not the C for the tyre compounds. It's blue, it's calm, it is a perfect day. The temperature is rising, and Karun Chandok, I don't know about you, I know it's a big weekend of motorsport, but there is nowhere on planet Earth I would rather be than right here today in Monaco.
Oh, big statement.
Oh, come on, it's qualifying day in Monaco.
Exactly. It is the most important qualifying of the season. Q3, the most important lap that the drivers will do of the season. And I'm super excited because, you know what? Coming into the weekend, we thought it's going to be the two McLarens versus Max.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Ferrari are in play. They are absolutely in contention. And Charles Leclerc, Crofty, he's magic around here. And yesterday, on every run, on every set of tyres, we were seeing that magic come together. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, yesterday, so Ferrari, so goody, if I can paraphrase a bit. Today is often a different day, though. Now, I suspected they'd turn the engines up a little bit. The data suggests that could be the case, but that might not just be the extent of where Ferrari's pace was coming from. And they do believe, and I think this is important for a team, that they are in the hunt today.
I think that's all they can ask for, right? I think last year, if we rewind the clock, at this stage of the weekend, Leclerc was a clear favourite. You know, it was really a question of, this is Charles' pole to lose. This year, circumstances are different. You know, the Ferrari has had a tough start to the season. Despite this man winning the sprint in China, it's been a difficult start to the season. But I think what they can ask for, really, is to be in the fight. And that's what they've got. So we think two McLarens, certainly two Ferraris, and at least Max Verstappen. We haven't seen what Mercedes have got.
So that's the good red. The bad red was Ollie Behrman,
yes,
and a 10-place grid penalty for overtaking under red flags, which you just can't do. Lance Stroll, who Charles Leclerc ran into the back of, was found to be at fault for the crash. He gets a 1-place grid penalty. Not the track where you want a grid penalty, but those are the stewards' decisions. Done and dusted. Let's head down to the pit lane. Ted Kravitz, good afternoon.
Hello Crofty, hello Karun, hello everybody from the pit lane. It's going to be a busy day down here, and we've got the best view for you to let you know exactly what's happening in all the garages. We can see into the McLaren garage. So much expectation, so much untapped potential they felt from yesterday. It was good, it was fine. Yes, one of them had an off and broke a front wing, but it wasn't as good as Ferrari. The answer to your question, Ferrari, really? As you've been saying, Karun, is that yes, Ferrari really. But they've shown that they can slip up on Saturday. Lewis Hamilton going out. In fact, looks like he's one of the first. Okay, burning up a set, or putting a lap on a set of hard tyres. Let's see how that goes for him. And feeling that there is a 10th or two to be found from within him, as Max is late, isn't he, Crofty?
He is a bit.
Max is late to the car, but Red Bull also feeling they've got some performance in there. That's one of the security guys just shepherding Max Verstappen. Didn't have to worry about getting him through the crowds because everyone's been kicked out ahead of FP3. But they'll all be mindful, won't they, Crofty, that the barriers, they haven't moved from yesterday.
Nope.
And we have many people finding them yesterday. Today, FP3 especially, not the session you want to crash the car.
Yes, they haven't moved, but there were plenty of drivers trying to move them yesterday. I know Monaco, you get a lot of brushes with the barriers, but there seemed to be more yesterday, and I wonder if that was because the pace was that much hotter, because we're on the softer compound tyres from previous years. I don't know. Jensen Buck, welcome to our commentary box.
Hello. Lovely to be here.
It is lovely to have you here. Were you a yay-sayer or a nay-sayer when it came to the Ferrari pace yesterday? And after reflecting overnight, where do you stand on this one?
Well, they were quick. They were quickest, but obviously we've found out since that bit of their lap time was on the straights, so maybe their engines were turned up, as you mentioned before. So they're still in there, though, and they can get the tyres working. It's as James Vowles from Williams said yesterday, a lot of the teams are really struggling to get those front tyres in the working window.
And as a result, Karun, teams might be tinkering a bit with how they prepare those tyres as well, on track and off track.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to see, I think, multiple laps because of that, because we're seeing drivers get down to Devot, the first right-hand corner, think the front bite isn't quite there. They then have a little bit of a go up the hill, think with the longer corners of Massenet gets some energy, but it's not quite there. So we'll see multiple laps.
Car performance. McLaren, obviously the fastest, leading both championship. Red Bull have done nothing in terms of the data there. Well, they have done something, but it's not given them a gain between Australia and Imola, and that's important because Imola, they had the big upgrade. Mercedes improving, Ferrari improving just a little bit. Williams losing pace, according to that.
And Racing Bulls.
Now, that surprises me somewhat, given the way that both teams have been scoring points. But I'm not an engineer.
Yeah. Anyway. But nice stats. Yeah, it's a funny one around here, isn't it? It's weird how there's so many more cars in the barriers, and maybe it is because they can't get the front tyre working. As you said, Karun. So yeah, this isn't a place you don't want to be. You really have to be confident on the brakes here. You've got to be able to hit that pedal hard into turn one and hope that it's going to turn and not lock up.
But I think Ted sort of briefly touched on a really important point, Crofty, which is you don't really want to crash the car in FP3. We've seen drivers in the past, Fernando Alonso, 2010, I think it was, Ferrari crashed up at this particular corner there. Max Verstappen had a crash down at the swimming pool chicane, didn't he?
Charles Leclerc had a crash.
Charles Leclerc.
When getting pole.
Yes, but I mean in FP3.
Yeah.
Which means you miss qualifying. So you've got to be a little bit mindful of that.
Yeah, but Karun, did you ever drive around here in FP3 and think, you know what, I'm going to take it a little bit easier this session. As soon as that visor closes, you don't.
Well, I'll be honest, the team I was driving with didn't have a spare front wing, so I was a bit cautious at multiple moments.
Right, we'll ask you, did you ever drive FP3 thinking, I can't crash this one?
No. I mean, you never want to crash anyway, so you're always thinking, you know your limits, but sometimes it just goes a little bit wrong.
First championship Monaco Grand Prix was won by an Argentine driver, Juan Manuel Fangio, in 1950. We were on board with the latest Argentine driver in Formula One, a return back in Imola last weekend for Franco Colapinto, who didn't have the greatest of qualifying sessions, even though he did manage to reach Q2. He
has always been a good strength of theirs. And it's the case right now, it seems. Isaac Hadjar was
before. I know we're by the sea, but normally the parties drown them all out. I'm surprised that people are actually touching the hard compound tyre before the race. 3 different compounds. Surely the hards would be the race tyre. Right?
Well, clearly, the ones that have burnt up a set of hard times. I think
Fun we're having, and for all the brilliance that is Monaco, we really miss EJ here, and to spend time in his company on a Monaco Grand Prix weekend was always a good time, and he guaranteed it was a good time. So we miss you, Eddie. I'm sure you're watching down and enjoying the action as well.
I had a lovely moment coming in yesterday on one of the boats. Somebody was flying a Jordan flag.
Oh,
it was nice to see.
he'd be up there doing deals with God, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Head of the wheeler dealer.
And he would tell me, Crofty, stop talking about tyres.
But my rule, which I've been saying for
one of each.
One of each. For the last, I don't know how many years I've been doing this. Basically, you know, we've had a lot of one-stop dull race, and I always said it's really simple. Have one rule, one line in the reg. Saying you have to use all 3 types of compound.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, Kareem, good job. They're not using that though.
No,
but even with 2 stops, I think it is good.
It's going to be good.
I think it's exciting. We're going to have people doing weird and wonderful things. And it's going to push the guys at the front to push harder on their tyres. You know, you're going to have people on lap 1 changing tyres.
Yeah.
So it mixes it up, which is nice.
And then if we get a safety, a red flag on the first lap and a red flag on the second lap, next year it'll be 4 different sets of tyres.
Exactly.
And we'll keep going until we get it right.
Yeah, and you can change 1 tyre and it has to be a different type.
Oh, really simple. You can't pit under the safety car.
Oh,
really simple. 1 line again.
FIA presidents in the making, Kareem Shandok.